I am Nate Glenn, and I am anti-racist. I'm anti-racist because I'm not a coward. I'm not scared of people who are different. I'm anti-racist because I'm not a hypocrite. I don't demand things from other people that I refuse to give. I'm an anti-racist because I'm not a liar. I don't repeat slogans that contradict themselves. I'm anti-racist because I have morals and ethics and principles. I believe in morality. I'm an anti-racist. I dare you to make the opposite statement. I dare you. Say you're a racist. And do it in public.
Hi everybody, it's Monday, February 6, 2012. Thanks for stopping by. Just as an addendum to my previous video today, debunking the various slogans which have recently come out as part of what appears to be a very large concerted propaganda campaign to promote white supremacy and racism. There's two things about this movement and the people who are pushing it that are, pretty troubling to me, and which make me angry, really. I mean, that's the thing that really makes me angry about these people. There's two things. First of all, they're full of shit and they know it. If they were full of shit and they didn't know it, that would be one thing. But they're full of shit and they know it. And the reason why I say that is because, like I said before, you can ask them one simple question that they cannot answer without contradicting themselves. And they know it. As soon as you ask that question, they will not answer. They will go around the world 5 times attempting to avoid answering that question. I've asked a lot of people, and I've gotten 2 answers so far, and both of them were very disastrous for the people who answered them, not surprisingly. But most people know better than to answer that question, and that means they know they're full of shit. And if they didn't know it the first time you asked it, by the 15th time, they ought to know it. They ought to know if you can't answer that question, you probably don't know what you're talking about, or your slogan is, absurd, ridiculous, irrational, illogical statement that makes no sense. Or you would have to be a hypocrite to say it. Either you don't have any idea what you're talking about, or you have one standard for yourself and another standard for everybody else. Those are the only choices. So if someone says anti-racist is a code word for anti-white, and you ask them, are you in support of racism against white people? And you ask them that question 20 times, and they never will answer it, that person is full of shit, and they know it. They know they're full of shit. That's what really gets me about it, is that they know they're lying and they don't care. They are committed to telling that lie as many times as they possibly can, knowing that it's a lie. And that really pisses me off. Now, the other thing that kind of pisses me off about them is that, and this is the disturbing part, they attempt to slander the idea of morality. You heard that right, folks. Now, if anybody, if you ever meet someone and they tell you that morals and morality is a bad thing, what do you know about that person? That's a person you do not need to be around one moment longer. You need to get as far away from that person as possible. If someone tells you there's no point to morality, and ethics and morals are just a thing of the past, or, something that is outdated and you shouldn't worry about, don't mess with that person. Leave them alone. Don't listen to another word they say. Okay, so these people that are pushing this slogan are just white supremacists. They're just KKK members without hoods. Their hood is the internet, YouTube. That's their anonymity. And so, when they tell you that the only law that matters is natural law, what they're saying is you should not have any respect for morality or ethics, which is nonsense. The people who have no respect for morality, like the Nazis, for instance, didn't turn out very well, did they? Things didn't go so good for those people, did they? If the Nazis had won that war, things still wouldn't have gone well for them. I guarantee you, because society's built on the law of the jungle, which is no law. They don't last very long. They self-destruct. And the people within them self-destruct. And a lot of Nazis ended up in concentration camps and death camps, believe it or not. Things didn't go well for them either. And a lot more of them would have ended up in camps or murdered by other Nazis. That's just the way it works. If you get in a wolf pack, you might get chewed up by other wolves. So, when these people were pushing this slogan and you say, well, that just doesn't seem right, and they just scoff and laugh and say, right, wrong, morality, pfft, law of the jungle is the way it ought to work. If that's not a good enough reason to ignore those people and to block them, I don't know what is. That's just not, that's not a good program, folks. It's just a little known fact that morality is not some silly, useless construct that we made up out of thin air. Morality has been with us since we were chimpanzees, at least. Chimpanzees have morality. Now, if you don't, you're not really as intelligent as those chimpanzees, now are you? Because chimpanzees can live together as a social group because of their morality and no other reason. So if you want to be less advanced than a chimp, listen to these people and they'll teach you how. Now, the only other thing I want to say is that ultimately this won't work. This is going to be defeated. But the one thing about this that's really disturbing to me is that YouTube does not care. This is an open campaign of white supremacy and racism based on lies and illogical statements. And YouTube will not remove any of these videos. None. You can report them as many times as you want. And they can say anything they want about black people or brown people, anybody of color. YouTube will not take down these videos, which I find to be somewhat disturbing. And it tells me where YouTube stands on this issue. I think YouTube is in favor of white supremacy and racism, because if they weren't, they would probably enforce their own rules against these people. But they won't. Thanks for watching.